Hey guys, Vern. Thank you to all the new subscribers that have come on board. For me, that really means a lot. I'm really excited to see this channel starting to grow and take off. And thank you for all the people that have helped to support to make this something special. So together as a family, we get together and we become one. And to me, that really means a lot. It helps this to grow and to lift off and to be something to give back to you guys. Because in the end, I'm constantly trying to give back. And when you give back to me, I feel like giving back even more. So it's like a super win-win-win. So thank you very much.
Hey, Vern.
Now, a very active member in our YouTube family, a guy by the name of Daniel Murphy, emailed me and expressed how hot it was one day for him in Arizona just recently. He said it was 109 degrees and his power went out and he woke up in this pool of sweat. And I thought, wow, I went through that so many times when I was down in Dumaguete. I would wake up, it would be probably 12 a.m., the power would go out, and I'd be like, oh, everything is completely still. There's no air coming through the window, and I'm roasting. And what do? You're tired. You don't want to get up and walk outside and sit out there because you're kind of in your underwear and you're thinking, what am I going to do about this? Well, one day, the answer came to me in the form of a Tough Mama fan. And what the heck is a Tough Mama fan? I'll show you. It's pretty cool. It's a rechargeable fan, sits about 3 to 4 feet tall, and it runs off these 2 batteries. And the batteries are about, what did I pay for those? 500 pesos, so maybe 10 bucks a battery, and it takes 2 batteries. And the batteries last, I would say, a little over a year if you're running it nonstop. And so, what a good deal. The fan itself cost about 60 bucks. So I'll show you the fan and I'll show you the links of where to get the fan. Okay, let's check it out. So guys, this is the Tough Mama fan. And I've had it for about 3 years and it just gave up the ghost. Now, it is probably the best piece of equipment that I've ever owned for what it gave back to me for the small amount of money that I spent into it. So if you ever need a fan and you're tired of being miserable, this is the hot ticket, the Tough Mama. And so I'll show you some links of where to get that. All right, guys, for the number 2 thing that I would choose as a must-have, it would have to be amazing internet. Now, when I first came to the Philippines, the first choice that I had decided that it was the obvious choice was Globe. They've got signs everywhere. And as much as they advertise, you would think they would have the best product. And so I bought into it. I bought the little pocket Wi-Fi thing for use with the internet. And I had a lot of issues with signal, bad signal, poor data speeds, inconsistent data speeds. And if you load your card, when the load starts to get slower, your data slows way down. And it was junk. If you need to use Globe for an inconsistent basis, maybe you're just using it once in a while, maybe you just need to send a file, it's not something you rely on, then it's okay. It's okay for basic usage. But if you need a dedicated line that's going to really work for consistent needs, then PLDT is the only option available. Now, they have PLDT fiber, but it is limited. It's limited. You have to really look for it. Now, out of a 100-point score, I would rate their service compared to what I was used to back in the US, I would rate it at probably an 85. And the reason I would rate their internet at an 85 is because every once in a while it'll glitch and it will like lose the connection for maybe 10 minutes and then it'll reboot. And it's not that often, but it does happen. And I would say once every 2 to 3 months, you may have a day where it goes down. But that's about it. Other than that, my speeds have been really consistent. I pay for the 50 Mbps up and 50 Mbps down. I'll do a speed test and it'll be right there every time, right there. So I hear a lot of stories of people that go to apartments that the apartment owners will buy a PLDT plan and then they'll try to spread it out throughout their their area on a 10 or 20 Mbps plan. Well, if you've got everybody feeding off of it, it's going to choke down, right? It's only going to push out 20 Mbps. So if you've got somebody streaming off of that, if you've got kids on it, you're going to be at a loss. So if you can, even in an apartment, I've paid for my own dedicated line to come in. And if you need good internet, that's just what you have to do. All right, so the number one thing that I choose to be my absolute must-have thing is power. I've got to have power. Without power, your internet will not work, okay? You might have the greatest internet, but without 5.4 volts going to that box, you got nothing. You just got nothing. And if you need to rely on being online for whatever you're doing, you've got to have power to that internet box. You got to have a fan, or otherwise you're going to just sit there and roast. Okay, so, and you need lights, especially at night. You need lights, you need a fan, and you need your internet functioning and working. So what do? I went and bought a generator. Now, if you choose to buy a generator, you want to buy the quietest generator that you can get. And it's not going to be cheap. But a really good generator that's quiet is an investment. It will be worth something. You'll be able to resell it if you ever have to sell it, and it will pay for itself for what you don't lose in downtime for not having your internet, for not being uncomfortable, unable to sleep. And so I recommend two different generators. One is the Yamaha and the other is the Honda. Now in the Philippines, the really quiet Honda, the one with the plastic cover, that's really hard to find. You may find it in Manila or Cebu, but in the smaller areas, it's going to be a lot harder to find. So what I would suggest is buying the Yamaha inverter, and it's safe for all of your electronic devices. And the cost of it was about $900. And I'll show you exactly how quiet it is. When I start it, it'll rev up, and then it will go back down to the idle. So let's check it out. All right, so this is the Yamaha generator that I use. And it's a little heavy. I mean, if you're not a little bit strong, it's gonna be a little heavy. So let's take it outside. Let's see what this dude will do. Just see right here. All right, sorry if this camera's a little shaky. This is my good camera, but it doesn't have in-camera stabilization. All right, so we'll just set it out here. All right, so it's ready to go. Rock and roll, hoochie coo. All right, so let's fire it up. Like I say, it'll idle high, then it'll come back down. So it's really easy to start. All right, so now we'll close the door. All right. So if you really listen carefully, you can hear it a little bit, but not much. And that's what you want, because if you've got a generator going, if you need to sleep, if you need to be online and you need it quiet, maybe you're teaching a class, this is the generator to get, okay? And for about 900 bucks, it'll last you many, many years. Just take care of it, change the oil, and you're good to go. So there you have it. Those are my top three. Now I have all of my things connected on a power strip. I've got my fan, I've got my internet, I've got all my computer stuff on one power strip. And then I have a cord leading just right to the front door. And so what I do is if the power goes out, I unplug that power strip from the wall, plug it into my main power strip, run my generator outside and plug that into my generator. And I can be up and rolling in less than a minute and a half. So if everything goes down, fire that generator up, I'm ready to go. As long as you're gassed up, you've got, I think it'll run off of that for 8 hours on a full tank. 8 hours. And I think it only takes, oh gosh, I don't even know in pints, maybe a quarter of a gallon. Maybe that's, I don't know, two and a half pints for the tank. And for what that saves you in downtime and money loss, it's amazing. And even in just discomfort, if you're just retired and you're on your own and you need a fan, you need to keep your refrigerator plugged in, that generator will run 2,000 watts, 1,500 continuous and up to 2,000 is the range for it. And I think an air conditioner, a small air conditioner, starts at 1500 and then it runs down to a lower voltage. So you could run a little air conditioner, you could run your computers, a little fan, and your internet off of that one generator, and you wouldn't even know the power was out. It's pretty amazing. It's the best money I've ever spent. So first thing that I would buy is I'd buy that fan, because you're going to have the power outages and just not being able to sleep, you're going to get miserable. The second thing, I'd make sure that I had the best internet that I could get. Even if it means moving to an area you wouldn't really like for a while to get established, just to get the good internet, that's what I have chosen to do. And then when you find out another available area that has the good internet, then you can relocate to that spot. That's my advice. And then having a dedicated generator for your power, because without the power, your internet doesn't work. Now, there is another option. You could get a small backup battery type system that they do sell for a backup for an internet that you could plug into it. If that's all you want, and maybe you're going to run a tiny little fan off of that, you could do that. You don't want to spend the $900, but if you want to get dialed in and you don't want to mess with this stuff anymore, get the generator. All right, guys, hopefully that helps. If you have your top 3 things that you have that are different from mine, let me know. I'd be curious to know. And if I felt like I was missing something that I could really benefit in my life, I'll do another top 3 video, okay? Based on your feedback. So thank you very much.
Hey, Vern.